are live.
So
We
good.
are live. Welcome, everyone, to the Impact Tribe Live. This is where we meet, greet, and learn about leaders who are positively impacting the world. We are streaming live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. I am your host, Ashley Bright, the Message Fixer, and today I'm joined by the amazing, energetic, powerful, all-knowing Ricki Pasinelli. I was normally going to be reading like a little bio and intro on you, but since we're going to learn about you throughout this conversation, I thought I'd do something a little bit different, and I'd share what some other people have said about you.
Oh boy.
Are you up? Are you up for
Okay.
that?
Let's
Okay.
do it.
So, Danny Strauss says Ricki is talented, brilliant, and hilarious, all according to her. But I can attest she's right. Another one here that I liked. Ricki is a whirlwind of strategy, empathy, creativity, strength, and respect. That one from our mutual friend Mark Holden. And then last but not least, power-packed passion with laughter and a heart from Kimberly. Woo! Can't go wrong with
So
all that
fun.
goodness.
Fun. Yeah, I'm gonna need these from you for my profile.
Definitely. Well, and these are all, full transparency. These were comments left from a
Mhm.
post in the last few days about our show and about Ricki and all the good things she's doing. And so, yes, I am so excited to have you, Ricki, my friend from we go back so long.
So long, it's not even really a good idea to talk about how long it's been.
Yes, I agree. So we will not go there. Now, I do at some point want to talk about you moving to Italy for love, but I want to save that for a
Okay.
little bit later. I figure let's get the high points around career, business, and the impact you're having to start with. So I know
Okay.
for most of your, well, I don't know most, but a good chunk of your career, you've been working with Fortune 500 companies,
Yep.
helping them with growth and planning and brand strategy and marketing and business development. But I know that you recently kind of shifted gears a little bit and you're focused on a different audience. So tell us a little bit about that, if you would mind.
I will. So, an illustrious, glamorous career in brand agencies for the better part of my time on this planet. And I decided to blow it all up in 2019 and take a little break and recalibrate what I was doing for a living. So I had the amazing opportunity to go in house with a client and help them forge a new path towards growth and eventually sale. And I learned a lot. And it was really nice to take my skills from working in a brand agency, taking it in house to a client with the sole focus on one particular client. But what I took away from that role, both of those roles, is that there is a whole market out there of mid-market, mid-stage, middle-sized companies that really need help, that are CEO founder led, are 50 to 150 people, somewhere in the camp of 15 million to 75 million in gross revenue, and have been super fortunate in growing their company, and they've now plateaued. So the
Ah,
definition of insanity is continuing to do the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. Well, this is where I step in. So I am the one that gets brought in to help move that plateau this way instead of this way
mhm.
and create more of a strategic vision forward and getting those CEOs and founders and their leadership team out of I like to call it the muck and the mire, but out of the tactical day to day troubleshooting reactive mode and into heads up, proactive, strategic vision, forward motion. So that's really what I do now. And it's really exciting because when you talk about impact, and the name of this podcast is the Impact Tribe, not working with Fortune 500 companies allows me to really make impact at a very, very, very tangible level. And that's
Mhm.
the thing that gets me up out of bed every day and that I'm passionate about.
Wow, that's awesome. And that's the thing, impact, we're all doing it in different ways and different
Yeah,
communities in different ways. And so I love that you have found this, I don't know if it's a niche, but it sounds like it's a very valuable and impactful place to be working.
it is.
So
And I get to do it by myself, right? I'm not reporting to anyone. So
Very nice. Yes, I must admit, many years ago, when I first kind of left that agency world, I attempted to bid on a few big projects, and then I had that realization of like, wait a minute, I don't have a team. I don't have a giant team. And then I realized that that was a good thing. And
yeah,
so then I shifted into my current consulting role. So that is awesome. So I know that you, and in some of the posts I put out there, I said that, you are the founder of an organization, but you also are doing like sort of 20 other things. So tell me a little
yeah.
bit about some of those other organizations you're involved with.
Yeah, so thank you for asking. I think, singular focus is great, but I have lots of passions. And as Ashley knows, and a lot of you who are watching this, I have a lot of energy. So it has to go somewhere. So on a personal note, I'm a big hiker and cyclist. We just finished training and hiking rim to rim at the Grand Canyon. So that took up the
Wow.
majority of my personal passion time for a better part of the beginning of this year. On a professional note, I've got a bunch of things going on that are really exciting. So I participate in two really amazing communities. One is the Outlier Project, and the other is DIY Influence. Both have changed the course of my life professionally and personally, not only through building community, but getting inspiration and being able to talk to people how I talked to people when I was working in an office every day, right? It's that water cooler effect, bouncing ideas off of each other, ribbing each other with the elbows as we walk by in the corridors, and really truly learning from each other. So that's one part of my professional passion. The other part that I'm really excited about, and there's two things. One is my app is launching in, I don't know, we're behind schedule, but it'll be in the next few weeks. It is
Whoa.
completely the antithesis of what I do for a living, but it is called Virtual Novena. And if anybody knows what a novena is, it's the 9-day prayer for the deceased. And
Ah.
it is a mess when you get the pamphlets from the church.
Mhm.
So I made a PowerPoint presentation for my best friend whose mother had recently passed away. And we thought, wow, even if we don't make a dime, we certainly can help a lot of people out there. So
Wow.
it
That
is,
is awesome.
thank
Congratulations.
you. And then the second thing that I'm doing is I am helping my co-collaborator, sometimes client, sometimes business partner, launch a brand new concept in innovation, strategy, and experience design. And that, if you look at my profile where I have stealth startup, is something that I'm really passionate and excited about because it's a brand new offering that's going to come to the market. So super stoked about that as
Awesome.
well.
Wow, that is wonderful. And just I'm noticing lots of amazing people joining us to comment and just I think consume a little bit of that Ricki energy. Dave One is here. Chasen is here. Brooke, Beth, Melissa, thank you so much everyone for
Love
being
it.
here and chiming in. There's Eden. Thank you. And so let's talk a little. So you are wearing lots of hats, and
Yeah.
you do have tons of energy, which we all attest to. There's no doubt about that. So I am curious: is there, given how many hats you wear, do you have a strategy for sort of how you manage all of this, how you manage your time, how you're able to kind of focus where you need to?
Yeah, I do have a strategy because after all, I am a growth strategist. So
Exactly.
there's a few things I do. One is dedicated days to dedicated projects
Mm,
for sure. My calendar is color coded, so I know what is client work, what is social, what is business development work, and then what is just pure networking. So my
mm,
colors are red, green, yellow, purple, and then the app is all gray. And I am able to actually manage my time very well
hmm
by creating these buckets of color so that I can look at my calendar and understand where my focus needs to be for that day, what deadlines are, what due dates are. And the truth is, I went on my own because I didn't want to work for anybody except for myself. And I also wanted to be able to manage my own time.
hmm hmm
And I'm much better if I can manage my own time and decide what, when, and where things happen. I don't work late nights anymore. I try not to work on the weekends, but if I need to, I will. And if there's a crushing deadline, I make it happen. I also only take on 2 to 3 clients at a time because
Yeah.
it is just me. And it's
Mm-hmm.
really important that my focus is where it needs to be, because when I'm helping a company break through that plateau, I really have to dive in.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm scattered, I'm not doing them a favor or me a favor. So it's really important that I have dedicated blocks of time that help me get to whatever that deliverable or that impact is that I want to make for my clients and my personal passions.
Awesome, awesome. I've been doing sort of that visual scheduling as well,
Yeah.
but not to the extent that you are. And I think I'm going to start doing it because
We can
my
take a look at,
whiteboard's effective, but not as good as I think what you're
no,
doing.
no whiteboards in the office at
No
all.
whiteboards. Someone's chiming in here. They're saying, "I love time buckets. It's all about the time
It's
buckets,
all about the
dedicated
time
time.
bucket.
I love it. I love it." All right, so let me ask you this. Let's shift gears a little bit. So you're out there. You're doing all these things. You're managing your time great. So two sides of the coin here. So what would you say is sort of your biggest success or win to date or recently that you're proud of?
Oh, such a good question. I just want to be clear about time management. I'm not perfect, but it seems to be working. So I'll keep you all
Oh,
posted.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. I thought you were perfect. Okay,
Okay.
this interview's
Where's
over.
Mel? Because she can attest to that. So I will say this: my biggest win to date is this. My co-collaborator, sometimes client, sometimes business partner, and this is purely work related. We went after an amazing new technology that's coming on the market here very soon. And we were able to not only dig in and work with that company and create their brand strategy, their growth strategy, their messaging strategy, their identity, the app interface. I brought in my team. Let me be clear. I don't do that.
Wait, this isn't all you?
It's not on me.
Okay.
But what I will say is this: we are launching with that company in a couple of months. And I am so proud of the work we've done. But I'm even more proud of the CEO and the founder, two different people who actually had the wherewithal and put their egos aside and asked for help. And that to me is a huge, huge win. And it's very exciting. And for whatever it's worth, it is going to change the face of how we measure value in real time in experiences and for our well-being moment by moment. So it's pretty damn exciting.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you are now probably the fourth person I've had a conversation with in the last 2 weeks that has a whole new way they're sort of measuring impact, measuring
Yeah.
value. And, I work with a lot of CEOs too. And when CEOs and those sorts of people admit that, like, hey, you know what? I need some help, or I'm not quite sure where to go or how to fix
Yeah.
this, but they're thinking about it for the betterment of their organization and their
Yeah.
team. That's true leadership. That's kind of where the change really happens.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
All right, so shifting gears here, because this is all about sort of learning about sort of Ricki and how you think about things. So that's obviously a great win and a big success, and will be even more so as you roll that out. What about sort of like we talk failures, challenges? What are some things or a place that you've struggled or had maybe a major failure, and what have you learned from that?
Wow. Well,
Sorry,
like
see, I
I
told you we
said,
were going to shift.
yeah, I know, not perfect. However, it's interesting. So my brand essence, as I like to say, is blind enthusiasm. So
Hmm.
I will leap before I think sometimes, and it doesn't always serve me well, I have to say. I did take on a role when I blew up my agency career that while I sussed it out. I really thought about it. I knew what my strengths were. I knew how I could help. I took the role for something that was not part of my core values. I took
Mm.
the role, I'll share these in a second.
Okay, yeah,
I
sure.
took the role for financial gain only. I knew I wanted to be there to help them grow and strategize, but I took it because I knew there was a potential payout at the end. I
Mm.
just want to be clear, spoiler alert, I left before the payout came. And so, but it hurt my soul in a lot of ways that I didn't even actually recognize in real time. And my core values are relationships, support, growth mindedness, curiosity, and fun. Money's
Mm.
important because I have to live and pay the bills, and I've got to still
Yep.
have one in college. But the truth is, that wasn't the thing that was fueling me. And my soul was compromised every day because I took the job for ego. I took it for the title. I took it because I knew I could make magic happen. And at the end of the day, the big failure for me, a little bit of failure, a lot of win, was that it wasn't a fit. And I spent
Mm.
2 years of my life kind of spinning my wheels and banging my head against the wall. That being said, I also learned what I didn't want to do going forward. And that was the catalyst to start the Make Partnership and pick and choose the type of work I want to do and the type of clients who I want to work with.
Wow. Well, I'm just gonna do
Thanks.
a little clap here. That's amazing. I'm sure. I mean, I can 100% relate, and I'm sure a bunch of people that are watching and anyone who watches this replay will acknowledge those moments where you made that decision, and you knew it wasn't really at your core, and it wasn't
No.
supporting your values, and whether it was 3 months, 6 months, or maybe a few years later, you went, hmm,
Mm,
writing's on the wall. I need to like take what I've learned
yeah.
and move forward.
Yeah.
So awesome. All right, so shifting from that, let's talk. And maybe this is a place I don't want to presume, but maybe this is a place to talk about Italy. But what sort of things in your life bring you joy? It sounds like you get a lot of joy in what you're doing day to day, but
Yeah.
what sort of specific things are you finding joy from?
Okay. I love my clients, first off. That people fuel me in general.
Hmm.
So I am a social butterfly. I get a lot of energy from interacting with people. And I really suffered, during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was in grief for like, grief counseling for 6 months. What brings me joy is seeing people, meeting with them face to face, whether it's formal for business or informal and personal. So just that alone, I'm just going to put that out there. Um, Obviously being outside is my thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we split our time between Tucson, as you know, because we spend
Mm-hmm.
time together down there,
Mm-hmm.
and Seattle. And the blue skies are really, really important. Oh yeah, right.
I wanted to represent
Yeah, you're
Seattle.
totally repping Seattle. And I'm in Seattle right now, everybody. So if you're here and you want to meet face to face, don't hesitate to DM me.
Exactly. There you go.
But so blue skies, being outside on a daily basis, is something that really fuels me and keeps me going. Spending time with my family. My daughter just moved home after being in college and grad school for 6 years, so I
Mm-hmm.
get to spend a lot of time with her. My son was just here for the summer; he's back in school. So those are the kinds of things that fuel me. Hiking,
Mm-hmm.
cycling, socializing. We entertain a lot. So I love having people over. I love to cook for people. I love to give and make people happy and make them feel good and full,
Mm.
both their hearts and their stomachs. So I'm not much of a big drinker, but I am a big eater. So come on up.
Bring the energy. There you go.
Bring
Let's
it
all get
on.
together. I love it. I love it. All right. So this is a question that I thought would be that's very much I thought of you, and I thought you'd appreciate it. So, what is an insult that you've received that you're actually proud of?
Oh, it's such a good one. And I don't know if it was an insult. I think it was meant, I know it was meant from a place of love and warmth.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody said to me recently, you bring your full frontal self, and it is all out there every single time you interact with someone. And I was taken aback,
Mm-hmm.
but I really thought about it, and it's really true. I have an executive coach, and working with her, we talk about a lot of things that bring your light and dim your light.
Mm-hmm.
And I know when I'm in one space or the other, but I mostly bring the light as much as I can. And I have to be honest, it's not forced, right? It's something that really I love. I don't have to force it. I don't have to talk myself into it. It's really one of the only things that I don't schedule, is not in my calendar. It just happens completely naturally. And to be clear, I am not for everyone. So, and that's okay.
I think I love the full frontal kind of description because that sort of said like just those words. It's like it's very as you said. It's like I'm all there. I'm in your face. We're
Mm,
ready to rock. But There's nothing confrontational or mean or aggressive. It's just that, like, I may not be for everyone. That's fine.
And that's okay. I'm
That's
okay with it.
100% okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna hug you like crazy. That's exactly what you're gonna get, right? Maybe a little too long,
Yeah.
never inappropriate, but maybe a little too long because I'm all in. I'm all in. If I am in your space, I am all in.
100%. I love it. Okay, so I'm curious now. I mean, you have such sort of this driving energy that's sort of coming out, and I'm a recipient of that, and I feed off of that, and I think a lot
Yeah.
of people in your orbit do. I keep saying that, like we're all so fortunate to be in your orbit. But I'm curious in terms of like where you find your strength and people that have influenced you. I'm curious who are some of the people in your life or people you've read or others that have inspired you or really influenced you, and how has that kind of impacted your life?
I knew I should have written this stuff down. I'm going to talk about it on a personal level. I read a
Please.
lot. I have a huge stack of books on my nightstand that is all from my community and people I know. But the truth is, there's been a few people over the course of my career who have really truly inspired me and pushed me.
Mm-hmm.
One is my really dear friend Linda Halverson, who hired me at Hornell Anderson, my last big agency job. She was my guide, my mentor, my pusher. She introduced me to my executive coach. We are still friends to this day. We haven't worked together in 1,000 years, but I have to say, she is really the person who unlocked me in my career. And making the decision to go to that agency back in 2006 was after not working for 5 years and having babies and, landscaping the yard and redoing the house was the single greatest thing I ever did for myself, really, truly. And I credit her for that.
Mm-hmm.
There's another person who I'm going to mention, and he's going to kill me for mentioning him, but my friend Doug Johnson. We met, I don't know, a number of years ago via mutual friends. And he is literally the person in March of 2022 who said, stop being afraid of what you have to offer. Not his exact words, but offering that up for prime time and the kids who are watching this, and start your own business, hang your own shingle. You have absolutely nothing to lose. And worst case scenario, you can always go back to waiting tables. So I'm not waiting tables yet. I will keep you all posted. But I have to say that those two people, as part of my professional network, really changed the dynamic of what I do. The other person, and I know this is super corny, but I'm married to him. He is the move to Italy for love.
Yep.
Still, we live in the States for love. But he is one of the smartest, most dynamic, most creative humans on the planet. And he makes me better at what I do every day. Also, I have to credit him for anything that is related to the brand, my identity, my messaging, all of those things all comes from him because he's also a very talented designer. And I do take complete 100% advantage. So
Wonderful. I mean, I've shared with you and anyone who I have a conversation with. I mean, my wife, I have learned so much. She is this driving force, and having that kind of wind beneath your sails, to use a cliche, but like, that's what it takes. And they hold you accountable, and they fuel you, and all those good things. And yes, thank you. So let me. So Italy is Italy sort of on the horizon? Is it imminent? Is it?
Well,
I don't want to let anything out of the bag here.
Yeah. So by on the horizon, yes, it's a yes and. So we met in a nightclub 31 years ago in San Diego. He was on vacation. I was finishing graduate school. I was leaving for Europe to go live abroad, to go travel by myself and maybe live abroad. I had a very good friend in Torino, Italy. So the plan was always to stay. Fortunately, the stars aligned and brought us together. So I was there for a little over a year. After I was done traveling, I lived with his family. I learned the language. And when I say I lived with the family, it's Italy. So everybody lives at home. So his family's like my very own family. We moved back to the States in the mid 90s and have really lived here ever since. Is it on the horizon? We go once or twice a year, no matter what. I've got a big trip coming up at the end of August. Are we ever going to move there? That's the yes and. Probably one day. We're both still working. We both still have our kids in our orbit. And the timing is not right. But I think probably what we'll end up doing is spending 4 months in Italy, 4 months in Tucson, and 4 months in Seattle. Because my parents are here. I'm originally from LA, but my parents are here. So it's a great question. I'm very passionate about it. It never, 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 never gets old. And I'm super grateful that I have the opportunity to go as much as I do. And we just move our life. We have a full social life, full family life there, just like we have here. It's wonderful.
I love it. I love it. I mentioned this to my wife, your journey, and then our mutual friend John Rubino, and that kind of living in these different places. And she's like, they're living my life.
I know. So and I'm having dinner with John in a couple weeks. So
all right,
we'll report out.
Say hi for me. So this is, I wanted to ask this question. I actually wanted to ask this earlier, but I was so enthralled, I had to just keep going. But this is a little bit of a selfish question on my part, because my thing is all about public speaking and communication.
Right.
And I know that you are very adept at that. And so I have a couple questions. One, was that something that came naturally, or did you kind of learn that over time? And then two, how has it played a role in your career and your life, essentially?
I love your question. Thank you. Completely 100% comes naturally. As the message fixer, it totally comes naturally. Are there things I can improve upon? For sure, but I love it. Love it. It was my undergrad and my graduate degree, which is communication. I had the amazing opportunity and gift to teach at San Diego State when I was in graduate school for 2 years. So I taught public speaking, which was Speech 103, which is no longer required for graduation as part of general ed, which makes my heart hurt.
Nice.
And then I also taught interpersonal and intercultural communication with my thesis chair. So it was a wonderful, wonderful experience for me. When I moved overseas, I taught English as a second language, both professionally and at home. I tutored a few adult students. And then moving back to the States, I taught at University of Washington and a variety of community colleges around the Seattle area. And I love it. I love it so much. But the truth is, teaching at that level didn't pay the bills. So when I talk about blind enthusiasm, I answered an ad for a health and safety training manager in the classified. So that tells you how long ago it was. Right. To help improve their training programs and teach their trainers how to speak. It was an amazing role, but that was really the launching pad for taking my communication, my public speaking skills into the workplace in a much different way. And it really, to be honest, fed my soul way more than teaching did.
100%.
I use it all the time, right? Because working, you have to make presentations. So I'm super persnickety about what shows up behind me versus what comes out of my mouth all the time, because you shouldn't be reading your slides, right? And I would say that my entire career is based on my ability to show up in a room. I really have to say that. Not only do I bring the energy, and I know who I am, I'm very clear, but I also can bring the language, the messaging, the visual messaging, and how that happens in a room. And what's been really exciting lately is I've had a lot of requests to help adjust, fix, make better, improve presentations. So not on a formal level like what you're doing, really just helping friends show up better. What is on their slides? How are they showing up in the room? And when it gets to be too much for me, I send them to you. So it works out great. But I have to say that background has really made a huge difference, not only in how I show up, but the impact I can make on others. And it's been a really fun, amazing opportunity to help address some folks in my community and their keynote presentations. So it's pretty cool.
Wow. Preaching to the choir.
Answer?
I was going to say, preaching to the choir, I love it. Being able to communicate is like, it's a superpower, and we all have it. We all have it within us. It's just a matter of kind of turning the dials, meeting, whether it's Ricki or me or others, just asking for help so you can like just bring it home. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, we are almost out of time here, and so I have one last question. This is a question I always end with. If there was one thing you could be remembered for, what would it be?
Oh, whoa.
You got 15 seconds. Go.
I know.
No, I'm kidding.
Aside from my, well, I'm not brief. That's what I'll hear for. Aside from my phenomenal shoe collection, that my daughter is really disappointed she can't access because her feet are smaller than mine.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah. What do I want to be remembered for? I want to be remembered for making impact. I'm not saving baby whales. I'm not curing cancer. And I know that. But what I have the ability to do is impact people's lives on a daily basis, whether that's giving them some energy, whether it's talking them through a challenging time, whether it's being their hype girl or their fly woman or whatever it is. That is the thing that makes me know that I'm doing the right thing. And all I want to do is be able to touch the people. Really, truly.
Wonderful. I think we're in 100% alignment there. That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome.
Thanks
so
for asking.
Just before we roll, is there anything that you wanted to plug? Anything going on that people should know about what's coming up with you beyond the big app reveal? I know that's happening. So
that's happening. Look, I base my professional and personal life on relationships, trust, respect, and shared purpose. That's it. If one of those things is out of alignment, I know that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and there's something that needs to be adjusted, fixed, addressed in real time. But what do I want to plug? I want to plug that I am here. I am excited to work with leaders and CEOs to help them get through their growth plateaus. It is the thing I am most passionate about because when I get to dig into an organization, it really, truly can make an impact, not only on the day-to-day, but on revenue, on culture, on leadership. And that to me is the thing that I'm really jonesing to do more of.
Woo! All right. Woo! Awesome. Well, we are a little bit over, so thank you for those that stuck around. Always lots of value. Ricki, I want to thank you so much for being here, and I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you did miss this, it's going to be available for replay on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and Facebook. If you're still on Facebook, I haven't been using Facebook much. Join me next time, Thursday, August 8th, when my special guest will be Heather Hiscock. She is the founder of Pause for Change and the author of the new book, No More Status Quo. So with that, I will say thanks again, Ricki. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the week and a great weekend.
Thank you. It was an honor to be here.
Thanks, Ricki. All right. Bye, everyone.